Hello, good morning, good evening, good night. It's me, Joseph Beck, with a partner, Brian Orandine, and this is the final advancement of our key activity. We're going to be talking about racism. So, according to ADL.org, racism is the belief that a particular race is superior or inferior to another, that a person's social and moral traits are predetermined by his or her inborn biological characteristics. So, we also have to take in place that racism can take many forms and affect thousands of people. There's the obvious everyday racism where people are called names, abused, and harassed. Then there's the kind of racism that is more subtle. There's a kind of racism that makes it harder for people to get to jobs or housing because of their colors or nationality. Racism for us is basically just the unhumanitarian act of having to force other people to do your chores or other types of work. And for us, it's not correct, because everyone should have the choice to decide what they want to do or work on, not be forced to it, and plus not being well treated nor well fed. We think that racism should be abolished for good in all parts of the planet. So here's a little about how racism is today. So according to the ESRI, in 2006, 25% of black people say that they have been racially abused or threatened in the last 12 months. The Teachers Union of Ireland found that 46% of the teachers have witnessed racism in the classroom in the month prior to their conference. It also features on the internet. In 2010, Facebook closed down an Irish group entitled Why I Hate Romanian Gypsies, which had more than 3,000 fans. So in England, according to the redcard.ie, racist attacks terrorize family, racist motive in murder attack, and race motive behind attack on athlete. So these are just some of the headlines on the news section of Ireland. In the last year, institutions can add to the increase in racism. A well-known case is Stephen Lawrence, a black 17-year-old student from Southeast London. He was at the bus stop in Eltham, London with his friend Dwayne Brooks in April 2008 when they were attacked by a gang of 5 white yowls shouting racist abuse. Dwayne managed to escape, but Stephen was stabbed to death.
The story of racism is as old as humanity itself. It began with the first human settlement, where they start to see the difference between themselves, which generate a contradiction of principles and create the marginalization of people. After that, racism becomes stronger due to the segregation generated by religious texts, such as the Bible, the Quran, etc. Because of it, wars called crusades were fought, that could have been avoided if the difference in belief had been accepted. However, racism began to consolidate with the appearance of the concept of caste. In the late 15th century, because of it, Indians and black people were inferior to animals, and for this reason during the colonization they were subject to slaves. But it was not until the beginning of the 20th century when racism reached its maximum point, in where we see the extreme with genocide. We can see it with Hitler and his assumption of the Aryan race that it was superior to the Jews and others. This belief led to the death of 6 million Jews. In the next years, just as the Nazis, other groups like the Ku Klux Klan arose with the belief of the supremacy of the race. All the problem of racism generate an analysis of different philosophers through time of how to see, treat, and or approach this topic. Some of the philosophers developed theories to support racism, like Aristotle, with his theory of natural slavery, in where he said that some people are born to be a slave, or if they don't have the capacity of rational deliberation, you have to be a slave or be ruled by others who has it. We don't support these theories in where one person is more than another, because for us it's totally wrong. Another philosopher who supports racism is David Hume. His theories support white supremacy. He says Native American and non-white people to be inferior than the whites. According to him, the difference is like 1 to human to animals. Of course, we don't support this because, as we said earlier, this is wrong in every sense. No one is more than another. However, there are philosophers who fight against racism in some way, like Karl Marx, with the egalitarianism that is, according to Invisibilia.com, a philosophical perspective that emphasizes equality and equal treatment across gender, religion, economic status, and political belief. We don't support much this theory because it will lead to socialism, but setting aside the economic status, we support it because we believe that the other ideals can lead to the end of racism. Another philosopher who fight against racism was John Locke, with his natural rights theory explained that all men are free, equal, and independent. We support this theory because it was the base of the human rights, and this helps to get us one step closer to end racism. So now, in conclusion, ending racism is not an easy task, since humanity has always been manipulated. This happens because of the very education we receive in our home, where we are taught to discriminate against people we don't know, and this in the end generates racism. For example, in some families they tend to lead children to be homophobic, to be away from people who doesn't follow your religion, or not to be together with people who has less social status than you. Even so, this doesn't happen in some families. This is one of the main roots of the problem. In order to have an opportunity to end this problem and create a less exclusive society, we have to start the change with ourselves by being more tolerant, respectful, and less narrow-minded. We have to change first ourselves, because if we do that, we can help others to change, and this will create a path of change, and that will be the way of becoming a better society in where no one has to suffer of racism.